So picture a photograph of two people crying.
Okay.
Just a really tight, zoomed-in shot of their faces. If you look at that snapshot, you're seeing the exact same physical reality, right?
Yeah.
Like tears, flushed cheeks, tightly closed eyes. And based solely on that image, you'd probably assume they're experiencing the exact same emotion.
Right. You'd think they're both incredibly sad or grieving.
Exactly. But if you pan the camera out, you might see that one person is standing at a funeral and the other person just found out they won the lottery.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
The physical output is identical, but the internal reality couldn't be more different. And, well, welcome to the deep dive.
It's a great analogy.
Thanks. Because today, we're applying that exact illusion to a trap we basically all fall into, which is confusing toxic narcissism with healthy self-love.
Which happens all the time.
All the time. And we've got a stack of research for this deep dive that proves this isn't, a psychological failing on our part. It's actually a massive mathematical and logical error that our brains make.
Yeah, and to really grasp this, it requires us to step completely outside of the usual psychological jargon.
Right. No clinical terms today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Usually when this topic comes up, people immediately start throwing around terms like childhood trauma or ego states or personality clusters.
Attachment styles, all
Right, all of that. But if we strip all of that away and look at this purely through the lens of logic, statistics, and cause and effect thinking, the picture completely changes.
It totally does.
It stops being about diagnosing a personality and starts being about how we as humans interpret patterns in the world around us.
Okay, let's unpack this, because as a society, we throw the word narcissist around constantly.
Oh, absolutely.
Like someone cancels plans to take a bubble bath. Narcissist.
Right.
Someone speaks up for themselves in a meeting. Narcissist. We use it as this catch-all term for anyone who prioritizes themselves.
We really do.
So decoding exactly why we mix up healthy self-love with toxic narcissism is incredibly relevant for your daily life, your relationships, your own peace of mind. We really need to figure out why our brains are misfiring so badly here.
Well, the misfire happens because of how heavily we rely on cognitive shortcuts.
Okay, cognitive shortcuts.
Yeah. I mean, your brain is processing millions of bits of information every single second, right?
It's exhausting just thinking about it.
Right. So to save energy, it groups things together based on surface aesthetics. It judges situations by what is immediately visible.
Just like the crying photo.
Exactly like the photo. We see two things that look the same on the outside, and our brain automatically, almost aggressively, categorizes them as the exact same thing on the inside.
We just skip the underlying context.
Totally. We completely ignore the deeper structure, the actual machinery that is producing the behavior.
Which means we are getting caught in what we could call the surface trap.
I like that. The surface trap.
Yeah, because before we can get into the internal math of human behavior, we have to establish what these behaviors actually look like from the outside out in the real world.
Right, where the confusion starts.
Exactly. Because if you just watch a narcissist and a person with strong self-love operate, their visible actions are, virtually indistinguishable.
They really are.
Both of them will prioritize their own needs.
Yes.
Both will fiercely protect their personal boundaries. Both might choose solitude over socializing or confidently decline certain interactions.
Right.
And both are completely capable of speaking very securely about themselves.
Yeah, and if you are an observer in that environment, human perception basically acts like a rough statistical model.
A rough statistical model, like we're just crunching numbers subconsciously.
Basically, yeah. You see these shared behaviors out in the wild. You gather examples over time, form quick mental categories, and logically conclude that because these two things look identical, they must share the same root cause.
Oh, I see.
Think about your own life. If you've encountered people who are genuinely selfish, and those people frequently enforce rigid boundaries or prioritize themselves, your brain creates a statistical correlation.
It connects the dots.
Exactly. It hardwires a rule that says self-focus automatically equals selfishness.
Wait, I need to challenge this whole concept of cognitive shortcuts for a second.
Sure.
Because if someone is fiercely protecting their boundaries to the point where they are isolating themselves or shutting me out, isn't it just safer for my brain to assume they're toxic and walk away? Why should I do the extra mental math if the shortcut protects me? Isn't it working?
I mean, that assumes the shortcut is actually protecting you rather than just isolating you from healthy people.
Oh, okay, that's a good point.
Let's look at the cost of false positives. If you use a rough statistical model that says any strong boundary equals narcissism, You're going to push away individuals who are actually incredibly stable.
Because they're just holding a healthy line.
Right. They're capable of healthy connection, but you reject them simply because they won't let you cross their limits. You're choosing the comfort of a quick judgment over the reality of the situation.
Okay, fair. Let me try an analogy here to see if I'm grasping the scale of this error.
Go for it.
Imagine you're looking out a window and you see two people running incredibly fast down a street.
Okay.
Statistically, biologically, the external action is identical. Pumping arms, rapid breathing, sprinting.
Right, the visible output.
Exactly. But one person is running for exercise and the other person is running from a bear.
Oh, man. Yeah.
If you assume they're doing the same thing just because the action looks the same, you're making a massive logical error.
Huge error.
And if you step outside to join the jogger, but it turns out they were the one running from the bear, well, that logical error is going to cost you.
Yeah, that is the exact mechanism of the trap.
Yeah.
You are observing the output, the sprinting, but you are completely blind to the input, the reason for the sprinting.
Right.
Because surface behaviors between narcissism and self-love are identical, we have to abandon the rough statistical model entirely.
We have to throw it out.
We do. We have to transition into the actual math of human action to find out why our internal logic fails us so often.
So let's do that math. Because there is a core principle from mathematics and logic that applies perfectly here, which is similar outputs do not guarantee identical inputs.
Exactly. Two entirely different equations can produce the exact same number.
Right.
Think of basic arithmetic. The equation 5 plus 5 equals 10.
Sure.
But the equation 100 minus 90 also equals 10.
Right. Totally different numbers getting to the same place.
Yeah. If you only look at the number 10, the final output on the page, you have absolutely no idea what operations took place to get there.
You're just seeing the result.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the exact same principle governs human behavior. The external behavior, the output, appears similar. The boundary is set, the invitation is declined.
Right.
But the internal cause, the input, is a completely different set of operations.
But come on, if the output is the same, how do we ever know what the input was? I mean, we aren't mind readers.
No, we aren't.
I can't look at someone declining invitation and magically see the numbers they're adding or subtracting in their head.
Right. And what's fascinating here is that to solve this behavioral equation, you have to look for the hidden variable.
The hidden variable. Okay.
Yeah. In our rough statistical models, we just correlate an action with a character trait. We see a boundary, we assume arrogance.
Like a knee-jerk reaction.
Exactly. But the hidden variable that changes the entire equation, the input that determines whether the output is toxic or healthy, is motivation.
Motivation.
Motivation is the underlying engine of the behavior.
So what does this all mean when we look at someone prioritizing themselves in real time? Like, how does motivation practically change the equation if the end result is still them saying no to me?
Let's look at the motivation of the narcissist first.
Okay.
A narcissist prioritizes themselves because their underlying belief is that others exist to serve them. Yeah. Their motivation is rooted in a sense of entitlement and superiority. It's an aggressive posture.
Right.
On the other hand, a person with healthy self-love prioritizes themselves because they have a deep, grounded understanding that their well-being is necessary for sustainable life and relationships.
They're doing it to sustain things, not exploit them.
Exactly. Their motivation is rooted in responsibility and care. The external behavior of putting themselves first appears identical, but the internal cause is night and day.
That is such a crucial distinction. It's really the difference between I come first because you are beneath me, and I have to secure my own oxygen mask before assisting others.
That's a perfect way to put it.
The physical action is securing the mask, but the motivation dictates what happens next. The first person leaves you to suffocate. The second person helps you once they're breathing.
And this raises an important question about how these distinct motivations are actually built.
Yeah.
Now that we've identified motivation as the hidden variable, we need to explore the literal causal structures that create them.
The blueprints.
Exactly. This is where we move from just identifying the variable to understanding how the whole system actually operates.
Let's get into those blueprints, because the causal structures behind these two states are entirely different, right? Like, we're looking at narcissism, and its causal structure begins with deep insecurity, profound emotional emptiness, and a staggering dependency on the admiration of other people.
I would actually push that further.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it isn't just an emptiness. It's an active void.
An active void.
Think of narcissism like a thermodynamic black hole.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It has no internal heat source. None. So to keep from freezing, it has to aggressively suck the warmth out of the room.
It literally steals the heat.
Yes, it has to pull energy from everyone around it. Therefore, the resulting behaviors, the boundary setting, the self-focus, the demands, they are specifically designed to extract energy.
So the motivation is extraction.
Extraction, exactly. They view human interaction as a zero-sum transaction. If they aren't taking something from you, like your admiration, your compliance, your time, they feel like they are ceasing to exist.
That zero-sum mentality changes everything. Because if they give you an inch, they feel diminished.
Right.
So their boundaries aren't actually boundaries at all. They're rigid walls meant to control you and extract from you.
Exactly.
But then we look at the causal structure of self-love, and it is the exact opposite foundation. Self-love begins with internal stability, self-respect, and a very clear awareness of personal limits.
Right, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, using that same thermodynamic analogy, self-love is like a well-insulated house with its own furnace.
Oh, I like that.
It generates its own heat, it has internal stability.
Hmm?
Because the individual respects their own limits, they know they have to keep the doors closed sometimes to keep their heat in.
But they don't need to steal your heat.
Exactly. They aren't going next door to steal your firewood.
Hmm.
Their behaviors, which, again, look statistically identical to the narcissist behaviors from the outside, are designed to protect their energy and well-being.
They aren't trying to extract anything from you. They're just preserving what they've built. Extract versus protect. That is huge.
It's the core difference.
It's such an aha moment, realizing that when someone sets a firm boundary, it can be an act of defense, an act of self-love, rather than an act of control.
Exactly.
One system is a drain, actively pulling from you. The other system is a shield, simply preventing their own energy from being depleted.
A drain versus a shield is the perfect visualization.
Thanks.
Statistically, if you just glance at them, both are metal objects interacting with water, right?
Right.
Your brain's cognitive shortcut says, metal and water, same thing.
Just a piece of metal getting wet.
Right. But the mechanics are fundamentally opposed. One pulls everything down into it, consuming it entirely. The other just repels the water to keep the surface beneath it dry.
It just deflects it.
Yeah. The internal logic of the two systems is entirely different, even if the surface behavior tricks us into grouping them together.
Okay, but this brings up a massive, glaring, practical problem for me.
Okay, what's that?
If the internal structure is invisible, right? If I can't immediately see if someone is operating as a drain or a shield, how can I, or anyone listening, ever tell the difference between the two in the real world?
That is the big question.
Because it's great to know the math exists, and it's great to know the hidden variable is motivation. But how do we actually do the math when we meet someone new? We can't just guess their motivation.
We don't guess. We observe the function over time.
Over time.
That is the only way to solve the equation. The truth is always revealed by how the system operates longitudinally.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Time is the ultimate truth teller.
Let's go back to the math. Imagine two different mathematical functions plotted out on a graph.
Okay, picturing a graph.
At one specific point, let's say the x-axis equals 2. Both of those equations might intersect.
They cross over.
Right. They both equal the number 10 at that exact moment.
Yeah.
If you only look at that single data point, that single snapshot in time, you would assume they are the exact same line.
Right, like our snapshot of the two people crying. In that split second, they are identical.
Exactly.
Or the two people running. Or someone declining a dinner invitation because they are protecting their peace. In that one moment, the output is 10.
But you cannot judge a trajectory from a single point of data.
You just can't.
When you examine the full function across time, when you pan out and look at the entire graph over months or years, the paths diverge dramatically.
They go in completely different directions.
One function might be a downward curve that eventually collapses into the negative. The other might be an upward curve that stabilizes and grows infinitely.
So let's apply that to a real human relationship. Let's walk through a timeline.
Okay, let's do it.
Say you have a new friend, and in month 1, they cancel plans with you because they say they're feeling overwhelmed and need a night to themselves.
Classic scenario.
That's the intersection on the graph. That's the moment they both equal 10. Short-term appearances perfectly match. You have literally no idea if they are a narcissist or just someone with healthy self-love.
But watch the function over the next 6 months.
Right.
If that person is operating from a causal structure of narcissism, remember that they must consume others in order to stabilize themselves.
The black hole.
They are the black hole.
Yeah.
Over time, that system collapses the people around it. You will start to notice that their boundaries only apply when it's convenient for them.
Oh, yeah. Like rules for D, but not for me.
Exactly. They will demand your time when they're empty, but enforce strict isolation when you need support.
It's totally one-sided.
The relationship becomes drained, anxious, and depleted. You feel exhausted after interacting with them because the extraction is constant. The mathematical function of that relationship plummets.
But if we run that same 6-month timeline with someone operating from self-love, the function does the exact opposite.
It does.
Because self-love stabilizes the self, the relationship can actually exist without control or dependency.
Right. Because the person with self-love is protecting their energy rather than extracting yours, the relationship over time has room to breathe.
It's sustainable.
When they cancel plans in month 1, they actually recharge, which means in month 2, when they do see you, they are fully present.
They're actually there with you.
They don't need you to validate them. They aren't siphoning your warmth. The relationship stabilizes. It grows. There is no desperate consumption happening.
It's the difference between someone setting a boundary to punish you and someone setting a boundary so they can continue to be a good friend to you in the long run.
Exactly. But understanding this difference requires us to actively override those lazy cognitive shortcuts.
Which is hard.
Very hard. We have to tolerate the ambiguity of the single data point. We have to look beyond a single surface behavior and patiently examine the deeper logic of cause and effect as it plays out over time.
We have to do the math.
We have to do the math.
And that is really the core takeaway from this entire deep dive. The ultimate reason we confuse narcissism and self-love is that, frankly, we are lazy observers.
We really are.
We rely on rough statistical models because they're fast and they feel safe. We look at the visible results, someone prioritizing themselves, and we completely fail to analyze the deeper equation producing that result.
They skip the input entirely.
We assume the person running for their health is running from a bear, and we panic. We assume the person crying tears of joy is grieving, and we misinterpret the entire situation.
It's a very natural human tendency to want quick answers, to categorize people immediately so we know how to interact with them safely.
Right. It's a survival mechanism in a way.
It is, but as the logic proves, similar outputs do not guarantee identical inputs. We have to be willing to look for the hidden variable of motivation.
You have to dig deeper.
We have to ask ourselves, is this behavior extracting energy from the environment? Or is it protecting the internal stability of the individual?
So for you listening right now, we want you to take this math into your real life.
Highly recommend it.
The next time you encounter someone setting a firm boundary, or the next time you feel guilty because you need to set a boundary for yourself, we want you to pause that rough statistical model in your head.
Just hit pause.
Stop equating any act of self-focus with selfishness. Look for the underlying motivation. Ask yourself, is this person acting as a drain, pulling everything down into their void? Or are they acting as a shield, simply maintaining their own well-insulated house?
It represents a total paradigm shift.
It really does.
It moves us away from judging the mere aesthetic of a behavior and forces us to evaluate the actual mechanics of the behavior. And when you commit to evaluating the mechanics, the confusion between narcissism and self-love completely evaporates.
It just disappears.
You stop being tricked by the surface pattern. You start seeing the architecture underneath.
It really does change how you see everyone around you. It forces you to be a more patient, analytical observer of the people in your life.
Absolutely.
And it leaves us with one final, very provocative thought to chew on. Based on everything we've unpacked today, here's the question we want to leave you with.
Okay.
If we as observers are so wired to use flawed cognitive shortcuts that equate any strong self-focus with selfishness,
Right.
how many people with genuinely healthy, stabilizing self-love are we pushing away simply because we won't do the math to see they are protecting their energy, not extracting ours?